You're the first one to try on a huge podcast. Aegis cocktail. No, wait, hold on.
Oh, don't chug it?
Well, you can probably take it, but these are clinical doses.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So this is based off of clinical doses based on Dr. Harvard Sinclair from, well, obviously from Harvard. But yeah, when people chug it, sometimes it gives you GI upset. But
It gets you what?
yeah, like stomach upset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mike should be good because you've been drinking ageless cocktails. So.
Yeah, you've been drinking for a while.
Yeah. Because of the NAD?
Well, because of their maximum doses. So most products, they just give you pixie dusting.
Yeah.
So maximum clinical in the study that Harvard did was 1,000 milligrams of NMN, 1,000 was Veratrol.
Yeah.
But this also has creatine and all the other stuff. But most other companies give you 200 or 100. So you have to take more of their product.
We also put TMG in it, which is interesting. So TMG absorbs more NAD, NMN, but also TMG can be used to lower blood pressure, hypertension. So it's fascinating.
And also decreases homocysteine levels, which actually your gut, your bloating. So it'll decrease that as well.
It decreases your homo.
Yeah.
Decreases the homo. What? I don't understand
Put the
why.
homo and homocysteine.
Why does NAD not when you say, hey, I want to get on NAD protocol?
Yeah.
The first NAD protocol you're going to get is like at an Aegis clinic or a wellness clinic that's going to do it through an IV.
Yeah. So man, Ben Greenfield goes in deep layers when we started. When I started deep down the rabbit hole with longevity. So NAD is not absorbed as well with an IV. There's competing studies, but that's why Dr. David Sinclair was like, your body doesn't absorb NAD primarily when you just inject or infuse it into the vein. Now, funny enough, you can actually get it better by subcutaneous injection, and your body absorbs it better by bioavailability with a patch called biophoresis patch. But in terms of the long-term studies that Harvard did, it's better to give your body building blocks, specifically NMN, resveratrol, and then that together, they say gets inside the cell, like way better.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Tijuana, was it CPI or CPS, where all the UFC fighters go.
Oh, yeah.
We did the
Use stem cells?
Stem cell.
Nice.
But they had us on NAD protocols every day, got the cocktails and everything else. And I felt the pressure on my chest.
Yeah, and the gut probably too.
A little bit of the gut, but mostly the chest. And they had to slow me down because, I mean, UFC fighters and competitive anybody was there. They were like racing to see who can get it in their system
first.
first.
The worst.
And I tried to do that, and it was like
hell no.
you gotta stop. And they slowed it down. And I felt like I was in the small percentage of people who were like, whoa, this is intense. What is that whole feeling? Why? It almost felt like it was like somebody was sitting on my chest. Yeah,
So if you think about it scientifically and fundamentally, NAD is the longevity molecule in any living species based on the research that this is not my words. These are Dr. David Sinclair's words. So anything that's moving or has function or energy is basically powered by NAD. It's like a little battery. And so if you think about that as energy, imagine just getting lightning bolts of energy into your body. And if your heart is the one taking it in, that's the one that's going to be most impacted. You can feel like you're like going to explode.
Oh.
So imagine me shocking you, but instead of shocking you, I'm injecting you with the molecule that gives you the most energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes straight to the heart or cardiovascular system, or does it just go everywhere?
It goes everywhere, but if you think about your heart as a pump, your heart is the one that's working and pumping blood, which gives you life throughout everything.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be the one that you feel the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Joe, we haven't even introduced you.
I know. We're just jumping into it.
But Joe, you want to introduce your brother? Because you had talked about him on the last podcast, and if you're watching this right now, Joe and Longevity Farms, I podcasted a few podcasts ago, and we talked a lot about a lot of things, including the relationship with your brother, how you guys started it, and what the goals and objectives were. But that's a slight recap. But you could introduce your brother because he's your brother.
Absolutely. Mike, thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So Mike is my younger brother. And we always, we grew up always exercising, taking supplements. Our father was a Marine and law enforcement officer. And, we just grew up in that mentality and that lifestyle. So Mike became a nurse and then started simplenursing.com, which at the time it was the only nurse. He was the only nurse online providing like a tutoring, similar to like a gym membership where you would pay for certain levels of tutoring. And he was the only one at that time. And before
For nursing.
For nursing students, yes, exactly.
My funny story with my spouse I get into because she said she took that from
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
So any nursing student in America right now, not to brag, would probably know my face.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like famous.
She knew your name first, and it was like, wait a minute, I think I've took tutoring classes. I was like, for what? And he's like, for nursing. And I was like,
wow.
Whoa, I didn't know that. So it's simplynursing.com.
Simplenursing.com.
Simplenursing.com.
Yeah. So Nurse Mike. Yeah, and then so Mike did extremely well over the last 12, 13 years with Simple Nursing. He eventually sold it recently, and still works for the company, still the face. And then about a year and a half ago, we had this idea to make a clean supplement that we could trust for our family, especially for our parents because they're aging. And that's when we started using NAD, NMN, resveratrol, creatine, and giving it to our parents who were in their 70s, and they saw a huge difference. And then for myself taking it as a firefighter getting off a 24-hour shift, I would notice a big difference. And that's how we created Ageless Cocktail, Longevity Farms, and the rest of our supplements. But it all kind of happened on mistake. We were trying to develop a supplement company, just the result of it. But I'll let Mike give his bio about himself. It's pretty interesting, his story.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to kind of share a summary with the audience. So I'm going to talk about my history as an ER nurse, medical educator, creating a multi-million-dollar company by accident in terms of medical education, and kind of seeing behind the scenes. Like big pharma and healthcare at its core is a broken system. They keep people sick so that you can keep people on subscriptions, keep on coming back.
And you've seen that.
Oh my
firsthand,
gosh, I've worked in 9 different ERs. I mean, it all started at 18 when I was on the ambulance because my brother told me to, hey, take this EMT course. I'm like, all right. And then working in 9 different ERs, eventually became a nurse. But yeah, I mean, dude, so many nurses are like, we have a cure to this, but you don't want to be cured because there's more money in treating the disease instead of curing the disease. For example, like, peptides, which is becoming a huge topic, you can reset the age of any body tissue. A great example is like literally any single organ. From the brain to the heart to the gut to your muscle. Most people are interested in muscle as well as fat loss. One thing that I was really interested in is mental health, getting people out of depression, getting out of anxiety or PTSD. They basically always go hand in hand. And growing up, we had ADHD. So ADHD definitely leads to portions of anxiety. If you have anxiety, it'll sometimes always lead to depression. And grew up in a military family. My dad was a Marine, brother, and my sister-in-law. And my dad was actually in law enforcement as well. So we're all kind of first responders. It hits me on a core level of, how can we give people access and education about how to heal themselves without relying on big pharma that always wants to keep you sick. So we can dive into all that, but hold on, one more thing. But we just want to let your viewers know by the end of this, we want to let them know that if they are suffering from really anything, we would love to make a personalized peptide protocol. So they can just email us. We'll leave it in the show notes.
That's fascinating because I've never even thought about that because nobody really is doing personalized like wellness. I mean, you can get a wellness coach, right? You can get segments of this, but it seems like the start point is the supplement, but nobody's doing like the execution or the protocol of how best it suits you because everybody's different. My needs. That's why I said I trust you guys more than anybody in the space. I'm like, hey, let me know what my protocol is. Joe knows me. Like, what do I need for recovery for a TBI that I've been diagnosed with? And that's very unique from the space because most of the space is just doing like you're selling a protein powder. So you go online, you buy the protein, and you don't get any protocols. Like, when should I take the protein?
Yeah.
You got to look that up. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. And I assume you're using the same tactics that you use at Simple Nursing. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
The education piece?
Yeah, so to give you a full recap, it's all about education with me. I made over 5,000 videos for nursing, for medical education. It's basically kind of like what we did was made a Netflix for nursing. So we basically did, do you remember Cliff Notes as a kid?
Yeah.
So imagine like a video version. Yeah, right?
Was it the yellow book? It was like a yellow book. Yeah.
So like, a 5 or 10 hour Tom Sawyer class or, book would be like condensed into 15, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what we did for nearly every single topic in all of nursing school. And it's funny because I never wanted to be a nurse. I was always, gung-ho about being a firefighter or a physician assistant, but I just kind of fell into it. But me being a personal trainer at the same time going to nursing school, I just loved the body inside and out. I just thought it was so fascinating. And then I realized going through and making all of these videos for hundreds of thousands of nurses, I'm like, dude, like most of these medications are keeping people sick, specifically the ones on your brain. Man, so many research studies are saying that the medications we have for mental health is basically prehistoric. It's not really helping anything. And I'd love to get into the science, but to give your audience a personal note, I fell into a really deep depression. I had 2 concussions from playing varsity football, which in high school, pretty severe. And if anyone had a TBI like you did yourself or any type of brain injury, it doesn't get better over time. It's your brain will fall. You will fall into a depression or some type of anxiety later on. Especially any listeners with ADHD, like our family has. Specifically ADHD, your brain is scattered in so many different directions, and so that causes micro damages. I forget the exact medical terminology for it, but over time, your brain has these small little damage points, which leads to dementia. That's all dementia really is, it's just damage points. And so you and I, since we have a TBI or some type of brain injury, you will eventually get dementia.
Because it's the collective of all the damage points together that leads to early onset dementia.
Yeah, and if you think about your body as just a car, right? The car is eventually, from the wear and tear, you're going to get rust, things are going to break down, you get over 100, 200,000 miles, it's not going to work the same way it did on day one. And so with classic cars, everything's polished and brand new and shiny, you're basically swapping out parts. And so if you want your body to function correctly, it's not going to be from medications that just kind of plug the holes in a sinking ship.
They mask the symptoms.
Oh, yeah. The best way I can describe it, it's just like putting, painting over mold, if you will. And you don't really get to the root of the issue. And so that's why I'm so fascinated with functional medicine. That really gets to the root of the issue. So instead of, for example, like Aegis Reserve or NMN and resveratrol that boosts NAD, your body already makes NAD. Your body already makes testosterone and estrogen. But if you give your body something that naturally boosts that, then you're going to feel younger, you're going to have more energy, everything's going to work better. Now, totally different. So, for example, Big Pharma will come in and be like, oh yeah, take caffeine, take Adderall. You're going to get more energy. But yeah, you're just masking it. You're not really getting to the root of it. And so that's why I'm so excited about peptides and what they can do for really any part of the body.
Let's talk about peptide protocol, because I asked Joe, I said, look, like I did an initial protocol. I'm like, hey, can you set me up with a new protocol? And Joe knows we've talked in depth about all the things that I'm doing. Like I'm coming off of back surgeries, 3 back surgeries back to back, pun intended, over the course of 18 months. I got an existing TBI. I'm just now getting into the gym. So it's not like I'm rehabbing with physical therapy. So I'm actually getting back to it. You know my personal trainer now because he reached out. And so Ben Light is my personal trainer. Shout out to Ben Light. But now I'm getting back on the horse, and you're like, I got a protocol for you. What are some of the things that you put in my specific protocol, and why should people tap into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So your protocol is specifically tailored to your body and your needs. So what we included in yours is to get you back on track. So we have like the cheat code with quantified healing using peptides. So with your protocol, I included retatrutide, which is a powerful metabolic enhancer. Also, it's going to lower insulin levels and go after that visceral fat. We also included NAD, which my brother talked about, is the fountain of youth molecule. So all of our energy comes from the power plant of the cell, which is the mitochondrial cell. That produces all of our power energy. People walking around with brain fog or fatigue, it's probably because you have bad metabolic health and mitochondrial health. Another one we included was MOTS-C. So MOTS-C is also another mitochondrial enhancing peptide, which is nicknamed exercise in a bottle. Great for going after stubborn fat, increases your mitochondrial health, and also lowers insulin levels. Because remember, high insulin leads to disease, diabetes, chronic inflammation. Also, we put in there tesamorelin. So we have tesamorelin 20 milligrams, the high dose. Tesamorelin is awesome. It's going to increase natural growth receptors. So you're going to put on lean muscle. It also goes after your visceral fat. And there's also a cognitive ability to it as well. So it's good for your brain health. the tesamorelin is awesome because take it at night. It's going to increase your recovery, give you better sleep. So I believe that was in your protocol. So those will specifically, tailored for you. One of the things that Dr. Trevor talks about, and the guy's a genius, goes really deep into peptides, that there's three biological failures why people die, and it's chronic inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial dysfunction or mitochondrial destruction. So with the peptide stack I have you on, it's going to fix and address those three biological failures. So
yeah, that first round of peptides, this is God honest assessment. Like, I have never felt better in my entire life than being on that protocol, and I could tell there's a distinct difference between being on the protocol, feeling healthy, getting up, doing the exercise because I feel great for the first time. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I'm in a fog or a cloud.
Right.
And then when it kind of peters out, it's not that the feeling of peptides, it's the feeling that since I don't feel as well, I'm not able to do the things that I would actively do to feel better about everything else. And then it's a slippery slope, right? You don't feel good, you sleep in.
Yep.
I mean, sleeping in would be a good part of the equation, but you start bad habits, and then the next thing you know, you're caught in this deficit, and then you're going downhill. You had mentioned, and I just want to mention this again because I think it's really important, the difference between the peptide that everybody in the country is taking for fat loss, and then the peptide you recommend because you could maintain your muscle mass, and you don't, especially for men who just get on that, they're like, oh, I'm getting fit, and then the next thing you know, they don't have the muscle, their metabolism's is at a sinking whack.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one you're talking about is Ozempic, semaglutide. It's the most popular peptide right now, and when people think of peptides, that's what they think of. Oh, it's Ozempic. Well, peptides have been around since 1920s. The first peptide created was insulin. The Russians really perfected it about 40 years ago. So we're just like 40 years too late. But thank God we discovered this, and we've improved it. So, yeah, Ozempic was the first trendy weight loss peptide. But the problem is it's a GLP-1, so glucagon-like peptide. Ozempic eats everything, muscle, fat, slows the gastric emptying, lowers your insulin, also reduces your appetite. But it eats everything, your muscle. So it kind of leaves you looking like a wet dog. If someone has like an Ozempic face, it doesn't look healthy.
Ozempic face, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is that a meme?
Yeah, they make you look, well, who was it? I think it was Jim Belushi, or maybe I'm getting the name wrong. But yeah. They literally have the face. It's like drooping.
Because the muscle structure, all the muscle in your tissue.
It's like a landslide, if you will. Or you end up looking skinny fat. So you're skinny, but you're pudgy.
Yeah. The thing is, like, we don't want to eat our muscle. Our muscle is so important to us for our skeletal muscles. So especially like when we're in our 60s and 70s and we fall and break a hip, it's because we lack skeletal muscles. So with retatrutide, completely game changer. It's won the race. It's number one for this reason. Retatrutide is a 3 agonist. So you get your GLP-1, your GIP, and glucagon. When those 3 are combined, it turns your liver on like a furnace, eating fat, preserving lean muscle, lowering your insulin, lowering inflammation, going back to the 3 biological failures. It's a complete game changer. I mean, this is increasing longevity. It's not just for weight loss. It's increasing your longevity and bettering your health. So for me, like I did retatrutide. I'm not sure if I sent you my before and after, but never had results like this before. So I work out consistently, being a firefighter, and try to eat well. But I started retatrutide in March of 2025, and 3 months into it, I did my fire department physical, and the doctor was like, okay, she brought me in, did all the tests, like every test you can think of. Even did a stress test, VO2 max. She brought me in. She's like, all right, you're 41 years old. Your waist size is 29 inches. You're 7% body fat. Your skeletal muscles are high. She's like, this doesn't make sense. What are you doing? Laid out the full protocol of the peptides. Went right over her head. No idea. Just, okay, no, it's got to be your diet. What diet are you doing? I'm like, honestly, I haven't changed my diet or my exercise. Everything's been the same. I focus on high protein, but it's the peptides.
Yeah.
Mine was blown. She had no idea.
Well, yeah, because I mean, everyone's married to big pharma. Yeah. I mean, I've worked in and out of the hospital for over 15 years, and man, everyone just like in all thy ways, I acknowledge big pharma, and it's almost like a religion, almost like a cult. Like even though science is proving, and we've known about this science for a long time, it's really just I think a monetary thing. So Joe just laid out all the peptides to rehabilitate, fat loss, muscle building, and I would love to talk to you about rebuilding your brain because you can literally rebuild any body tissue.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question because the brain, especially with this systemic issue of mental health issues across the board.
Oh yeah,
where people there's a resurgence, obviously, of getting into psilocybin, health and wellness, because people are looking for solutions, not alternative solutions, period, because the solutions offered, like I was given trazodone and Ambien for sleep and for anxiety, and it's like I felt like a zombie. I felt like I couldn't function. Like I take you guys as Ageless. Is it Ageless, the standard one with a powder?
Ageless cocktail?
Ageless cocktail every morning as my protocol, and it's replaced because now I do Huberman's protocol of taking caffeine a little bit slightly delayed.
90 minutes after you wake up.
I take it like at 10. So I'll do this as soon as I wake up. I do mineral and I do Ageless cocktail, and I feel great. And I actually feel like I don't need the coffee, and the coffee is just a benefit. But it's not just my body, the physical sensation of my body, it's my brain.
Yeah.
And what is it about Ageless cocktail, and how did you guys look at it and approach cognitive function over, I guess people look at it as like you said, they pay attention more to muscles. They're like, I want to be fit, but it's also about clarity of focus.
Yeah, and I tell Joe this all the time because I used to be a personal trainer for 7 years before being a nurse. And I'm like, man, you are never going to get to the gym unless you have the energy to. Or the motivation. And people are just like, kick yourself into motivation. I'm like, well, you're not gonna be able to do that if you don't have enough energy to get there. And so, the creation of it was kind of by accident. I mean, me being a nurse, my full-time gig was, building up and scaling out, simple nursing. And my brother, full-time firefighter, but we're both into longevity. My brother's way more so. And so he's always sending me like all these podcasts from, all the leaders on Joe Rogan, from Dr. Rhonda Patrick to Ben Greenfield to Dave Asprey, now Brian Johnson. And it's like, okay, well, every single person, Dr. Huberman, every single person has something that you should take, right? Like Dr. Huberman, his biggest preaching point was, salt and sunlight in the morning for 20 minutes. You're going to reset your adrenals, balance your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. And so if you have too high of cortisol, it's going to be firing off. You're going to be waking up at night. Or if you have excess belly fat, it's probably a cortisol issue. So if you simply take salt and sunlight in the morning, you're going to balance that out. Instead of what we mostly do, like we talked about, chugging some caffeine, which again sucker punches your adrenals, and it's going to add insult to injury. So what ended up happening, and this is the origin story, I basically, me being scientific, my brother's throwing at me like, oh my gosh, like 20 podcasts a week, or I don't know, maybe a dozen. And so I'm like, okay, my analytical mind, I'm like, I'm going to put it all on an Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, so Dr. Rhonda Patrick says take this. Ben Greenfield says take creatine for your brain health, neuroprotectant, also gives you better sleep. Dr. David Sinclair from Harvard, in his book Lifespan, was like, hey, take NMN and resveratrol. You're going to boost NAD. They did it in rats. And the craziest part, a little excerpt that really got me sold on it, is in the book, he was saying that the equivalent of 60-year-old rats were outrunning the 20-year-old rats equivalently. They're basically running 3 times longer, and they kind of broke the machine. And I was like, holy moly. So, okay, I'm like, okay, it's going to work for me. I'm in my mid-30s, but everything declines over time. So I was thinking of my parents. I'm like, okay, I'm going to test it on my parents. I'm going to put all these things together in like a morning powder. And then I'm also going to do it for, the coffee supplement. So we all know that, well, actually, maybe we don't all know, but Paul Stamets on Joe Rogan, the leader in mushroom therapy, not just psilocybin, but all the mushrooms. Lion's mane, he says, is the number one thing to prevent dementia and brain damage. But you have to do it at max doses. See, if you look at like 4 Sigma or like all these other brands that mix a bunch of proteins together, a bunch of mushrooms together, they're pixie dusting you, which basically means they're giving you like 300 at a time. So we give you guys I was like, this is before we even made a product. I'm like, I want to take the maximum dose.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take 2,000. And then I added reishi, which is really good for immune support, and also chaga. So I'm going to do 6,000 milligrams a day of mushrooms. I'm also going to add cacao flavonoids because studies were showing if you take it over 30 days at, I think it was like 400 to 800 milligrams, you can actually boost and double your stem cells. And then collagen, everyone's into collagen, but then also colostrum, like Armra. So I'm going to take colostrum for my gut reset. And all I'm doing at this point is like, I'm just taking everything that everyone recommends and putting into these little powders. That's all I want to do. And I was like, this is going to be a 90-day test. So I had my personal assistant that worked with us at Simple Nursing, mixing all this stuff together. And I'm like, I'm going to do a 90-day test. And that was about 3 years ago. And what would cost from ordering from big brands on Amazon, what would cost around $250 just for the morning powder, which we now call Aegis Cocktail. That would be $250 from all the other brands. And I'm like, holy moly. And so I'm like, screw it. I'm making good money. I'm going to try it with my parents. My parents started feeling the difference because, I mean, the science makes sense, right? If you're in your 60s, your NAD and your testosterone levels are going to be, low. You can get on TRT, but to get something that has, clinical doses, it's really hard to find. And have it all in one place with the creatine, NMN, resveratrol, and now we even added liposomal NAD, which increases bioavailability in the gut. And then my brother came up with this crazy idea. He's like, dude, why don't we sell this stuff? And I'm like, bro, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a digital marketer. I don't know anything about selling supplements online. And then my brother's like, well, we can take it. Our whole family can take it. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. We ended up selling out in, 2 months? And then we ended up overnight inside of Beverly Hills Cosmetic as well as Face Logic that does facials. And we didn't even promote it. It was my mom, who's in her mid-60s at the time. Her esthetician, she sees her every month. And one of the months after, I think it was 6 weeks, because your skin cells are the fastest proliferating in the body. The older you get, the longer it'll take. But typically in your 30s or 40s, it'll take about 45 to 60 days. My mom's in her 60s, so scientifically it takes 90 days. So my mom's taking, NMN resveratrol to boost NAD. And if you think about it, again, NAD helps at the cellular level. It's rejuvenating at the cellular level. So it's basically an internal facelift. Everything we know about skincare today goes from the outside in. So we're just kind of like painting the barn instead of like resurfacing or, replacing the planks, if you will. So about 6 weeks or 2 months in, the esthetician's like, what are you doing differently to your face? I see more fullness, more brightness, decreasing fine lines and wrinkles. And she's like, I do Botox, but I've always done Botox. She's like, have you done any PRP? She's like, not recently. And she's like, my boys just have me on, this that boosts NAD. So we ended up giving a whole workshop to them, and we ended up overnight kind of being in 5 different med spas, kind of by accident. So I think it all rings true. It's either you're focusing on, painting over mold, or you're getting to the root cause of aging itself. And that's what Joe and I were just super passionate about.
Yeah, because what I've noticed, God, I feel great, by the way.
Yeah,
awesome.
Dude.
Like, I feel
you
really
just took
good
a cup
right
of that.
Yeah, I was like falling asleep I closed my eyes for 5 minutes in the truck just before I came in here because I haven't slept because I have high levels of cortisol. I just got back from a road trip. But wow, I feel great right now.
Good.
That's amazing.
So yeah, one of the things that you talked about the big pharma component, and I've always known this because my mom was a cosmetologist my entire life. She was an entrepreneur, had a beauty salon, a day spa. It turned into a day spa, but no one ever focused on. Nobody asked the people that they were treating or working on for Botox or whatever what their diet was.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, are you hydrated? Are you getting your minerals? Are you getting? And I love that there's more awareness to it. But what I've recognized with you guys, which is why I'm so interested in the subject matter as well, is you guys put it together.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you try to do this any other place and you try to piecemeal it, which I have at some point, it's impossible to navigate. It's very difficult. And to get it all done in one spot and then add it to whatever protocol you're running complements the protocol. And again, it's inside out, right?
Yeah.
And you're addressing a huge problem. When you look at NAD and you look at peptides, there's an emergence of awareness to what this is. There's this rebellion against big pharma, which I love that's happening, right? It's taking place.
Oh yeah.
But when you take this as a protocol and you add it to your life, is it a cheat code? Is it a supplement? Like you could do this and not have to really do anything else, or is there an all-in protocol for like, hey, look, you need to eat well, you need to sleep well, and do all the above, and this is just the icing on top, or is this the foundation, do you think? Because, I mean, you would never be able to get some of this supplementation in a diet.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're able to get this through a peptide inject it subcutaneously and then get all the benefits. It seems like that wouldn't be natural unless you had a really dialed nutrition profile.
I mean,
especially for the brain.
No, that's an excellent question because I battle this all the time with all of our customers because it's like you have to have the foundation, right? You got to be getting good sleep. But I mean, as first responders, like Joe can say, he doesn't get good sleep at all. Or even as nurses doing night shift, doing 12-hour shifts, or ambulance workers, it's almost impossible. And then getting to the gym, especially when, you feel like shit and, things are falling apart. You're just old, rusty car. So I think fundamentally, if you fix the hardware first, then the software can come, if you will. So, just like you today, like imagine you taking a nap in your car and you're like, oh, crap, I got to go to the gym. Instead of, hey, I'm going to just actually reboot my body from the NAD level, which it is desperately craving. The easiest way I can explain this is just like TRT, right? It's like you can have 200 testosterone when, statistically you should be somewhere in between, 700, 900 to feel actually good and youthful like you were in your younger years. But I mean, it's the same way, right? It's like you can go at, you can tackle the gym. You can eat right and sleep right, but fundamentally, if you don't have enough energy and enough motivation to do that, then it's probably just not going to happen.
Do you think it starts with the brain? Because I've kind of noticed that where I used to do it based off feeling, and when you're young, you can get away with it, right? Like you wake up and you're like, I feel great all the time.
Yeah.
But then when you get older, you get up and your body might be able to move, but like this morning, I did not want. My brain was like, dude. Everything was foggy. Mm-hmm. No amount of caffeine, which I drank it all. How much caffeine you have this morning? All of it. And then I still felt like crap. Mm-hmm. Now, honestly, I feel like if I had, I didn't take Aegis cocktail this morning. I didn't think about it. But if I would have had something like NAD to kind of snap me out of it, I think I would have had the focus and clarity to be like, all right, it's time to move forward. And it's almost like my brain used to depend on the body. Mm-hmm. Now my brain is depending on its focus to get through life, to make decisions and do everything else.
Yeah.
Because my body obviously is, progressively damaged, broken, always in a deficit. And you need that brain health and that focus to kind of, in your latter years, where you almost transition academically, where you're like, your body's being used all the time. Now you're slowing it down. And you want to use your brain. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens when your brain and your body are slowing down?
Yeah, and that's why, for all the listeners that are dealing with this, I mean, anyone in their mid-30s, 40s, and even older, you're going to deal with that, right? Your body is breaking down. So if there's 3 things you can do, it's number 1, boost your NAD. And this is the reason why I was like, initially made that spreadsheet. I made it for me and my family. I didn't really make it to sell. And I told my brother, I'm like, this is going to be dumb. Like, we shouldn't do this at all. But I mean, I know that, getting enough electrolytes and NAD in the morning, it's going to reboot. Your body is craving that because that's why you feel tired.
Yeah. So this would be first thing in the morning?
Yes. So what I personally do is I have my huge Stein cup or, your to-go water jug.
Yeah.
And you can throw that in if you want to take sips on it. Or
that's what I just drink right here, right?
Yeah.
Or
you can chug it, which most people get that GI upset because there's clinical doses, and so most people get that's why I say go slow, mix it with something big. But yeah, tackling the NAD, which we have it right here, and then with your coffee, just mix in the Awaken, because it has maximum doses 6,000 milligrams of functional mushrooms, and so lion's mane. If there's only one thing you would take in the morning, it would be lion's mane in your coffee, just like I gave you right now, and also NMN resveratrol. So those are the biggest active ingredients to get your day started. Next, I would say if you have low testosterone or if your hormones are all out of whack, you're gonna feel it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
So that's I would think number 2.
Like a TRT protocol.
Oh yeah, big time.
Getting your blood levels checked.
Oh yeah.
Can you get your NAD levels or any of the things that are coming in peptide form? Mm-hmm. Is there any markers to be able to observe in blood to see if you're getting benefit out of it?
I'll have Joe explain the NAD, but first with the peptides, it's hard because scientifically there's over 7,000 peptides in the body right now. Like Joe said, there's insulin's a peptide. Many of our hormones are peptides. And all peptides really do is help your body fold proteins. So once your body starts getting all this oxidative damage from stress, from smoking, from road trips or work, then things start malfunctioning. So all peptides really do is they come in and they help your body almost like a personal trainer. They remind your body how to fold the proteins.
It's like a signal to the.
So to really test if a peptide is actually in the system, this is why the Olympics and a lot of professional athletes, it's hard to test because it's already in your body. And so if someone's taking BPC like they did in the Olympics, there was that story, I think Joe Rogan was talking about it.
Is BBC 157?
BBC 157.
Okay, yeah.
It's like they call it Wolverine strength because you can rehabilitate your body, and accelerate 3x. So there was a guy that I think ruptured his Achilles tendon, which usually takes months and months to heal. I think he was back on the field within about 2 months. Wow. And it was crazy.
Why would you not want that for your athletes though?
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, to answer your question, it's really hard to say if you can test that. Now, what about NAD? There's a few studies out there you can test.
As far as I know, there's only one company, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the company that can actually measure NAD in the body. I'll have to get back to you with the name of that company. I can't think of it right now.
But Captain Ron, your fire captain,
he was using that company.
But he was saying that it was inaccurate sometimes, or was it?
I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to get back to you. But for myself, I am on a prescribed low dose of TRT. So I get my blood work done regularly every 3 months, and I've been on peptides for like 4 or 5 years. My blood work has never determined any type of peptide, because peptides are just short-chain amino acids. The only thing I've noticed is lowering my insulin, which is great because, we're Mexican. All of our grandparents, including our mom, was diabetic. My mom was pre-diabetic. Thank God we lowered her insulin using peptides. But my doctor was like, how did you lower your insulin level? You lowered your A1C. She's like, I've never seen anyone do this. Peptides. But yeah, as far as my blood work, there's nothing that has come up. It doesn't mess with your hormones, nothing. So
what about would it be efficacy of the one thing I'm always concerned with peptides, and we've had this conversation on our podcast, is is it a peptide, right? Are you getting something out of it? And that has to do with the manufacturer and their test, right? And that has to be on the up and up. Right. How do you even test for that? Or is there like a organization that regulates that?
Third-party testing.
That's a great question. So we actually pay extra to get a certificate of analysis that tests the purity and third-party testing. So for us, like our standard for Rejuvenate Peptides is that we want 99% purity for all of our peptides, because everything we have on the website, us and our family are taking, I don't want to know exactly what I'm putting in my body. So we do have those testing results. We have full transparency on our website that we posted to, which I don't know of any peptide companies that are currently doing that. Maybe there are, but I don't know of any. Yeah. So that's our standard.
Okay.
Well, the funniest part is full transparency. Sorry to throw you on the bus. So when my brother first started, sourcing peptides and basically getting like wholesale med spa prices, I'm like, dude, I don't even. Dr. Huberman just came out with that, that podcast that was like, try not to know where your peptides are coming from because some have lead, some have heavy metals in it. And I'm like, dude, like once you do the test, I'm all in. And so we did the test and everything came back good. So I'm like, all right, well, let's try it out.
Oh, okay. So there is like a test and a sheet.
Yes.
And you can analyze and assess.
Yeah. If you go to our website, every single peptide on our website has the third-party testing results with certificate of analysis and purity. So we test it every which way up and down.
Yeah.
Make sure
and there's a big push. I did hear on Rogan's podcast, there's a big push by Big Pharma to go after peptides to regulate it because they won't control, right?
Yeah, if you're watching this right now, I didn't go missing. I'm not suicidal right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna pull this down. Big Pharma is gonna. Oh shoot, they're here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
No. But seriously, for example, like Joe and his wife Raina, they had a on social media they were just talking about peptides, and they showed people how to inject. So legally speaking, you can educate about peptides, like Dr. Trevor. Legally speaking, you can, have peptides on a website from a compound pharmacy as research purposes only. You can't show people how to inject peptides. You can't educate them on the dosages of peptides, even though we do.
Yeah.
Just because it's supposed to be research only.
Like experimental use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone knows, and the reason for that is all just because of the money. Follow the money, and it's only till, Big Daddy FDA can get their hands in it, and that's why Ozempic is like the 1984 computer that everyone's using right now, but just causing destruction of the body. There's so many better peptides like retatrutide. So if you follow the Tide family, like a lot of people are on trizepatide and semaglutide, which is Ozempic. But the third generation, the most updated version that attacks body fat on 3 levels is the retatrutide. But no one's talking about it because
Ozempic is leading the way.
Well, that's the only one that Big Pharma allows. So it's almost like the mafia.
Yeah.
You know?
And Trump just reduced the cost of Ozempic countrywide, but RFK is pushing, according to this really in-depth podcast on Rogan, he's pushing to legalize peptides and basically keep it away from the government and allow people to do it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I guess CBD would be the greatest example. I own a CBD company. I mean, I've used CBD and CBN for sleep and chronic pain for years, but finally getting the regulation where they're kind of leaving it alone and you could do commerce because the merchant service isn't going to kick you off the platform or ban you because you're selling or transacting. You're not seeing that issue now with banks and stuff like that, are you?
Yeah, I mean, so going back to the FDA, so the FDA hates peptides. It's just amino acids, but I mean, this is quantified healing.
They want to control it.
They want to control it because this could potentially topple $1 trillion business from the FDA. The FDA wants people fat and sick. They don't address the root cause or get true healing. They just want to prescribe medication, move on to the next customer, and now they have a lifetime customer taking their prescription medication for the rest of their life. They don't want people to be truly healed. So with that being said, yeah, there is a hatred towards peptides, and a lot of merchant service accounts do not like peptides because there's such a control and ban over it. For example, I have one. We created a Parkinson's bundle. Now, what I'm going to say right now, we might need to move this over to Patreon, but it's
I know, put it on a paywall. You're going to go missing.
Yeah, I'm not suicidal.
Yeah.
I have a great life. So we created a Parkinson's bundle because we had a bunch of friends saying, hey, my father has Parkinson's. I have a family member with Parkinson's. We researched it. We created this bundle. One of my buddies at work, he got his father on it, who was using a cane, very difficult cognitive ability to speak, stuttering. He's been on the bundle, honest to God, for 2 weeks. He goes, tell Joe, call him right now. Tell him whatever he has me on, it's working. No more cane. He has a video of his father doing a box jump, speaking clearly. I mean, this is amazing.
What's the specifics of the bundle? What is it about the bundle that, I mean, is there anything that's like different from a standard peptide bundle that you see is the marker for change?
No, that's a great question. So we have it on our website, the Parkinson's bundle. But what it does, just like I was mentioning earlier, it addresses the 3 biological failures, so chronic inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial dysfunction. So with that being said, is that we're fixing the mitochondrial health using like NAD, MOTS-C. In the bundle, we have retatrutide to lower the inflammation and the insulin. And we also have thymosin alpha, which we always thought thymosin alpha was the never get sick peptide. But thymosin alpha actually increases the helper T cells with reducing inflammation as well. We also have a SS31, which SS31 rebuilds the mitochondrial health and supports it. And we have, I might be missing one more, but we have, what else am I missing? I'm missing one more.
Do you have on CMAX?
CMAX is one of them. Yes, that's the one. Thank you.
So CMAX rebuilds the brain from the inside out. And a big thing that I'm really passionate about, I think your viewers would get a lot out of, is if anyone suffering from depression or anxiety like I have, or even just a TBI, you can literally rebuild the brain with 3 peptides. So CMAX, C-Link, and PE22. And I actually have them right here. So
we're coming out with our own nasal sprays, peptide nasal sprays.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. So nasal.
So instead of having to inject,
exactly. Yeah, because 85% of people don't want to inject, which is fine.
Yeah.
But what we experimented with for the last 2 months is nasal spray peptides have been a game changer. I mean, I have ADHD, and I'll take a hit of C-Max, C-Link, and boom, I'm ready to go. I'm focused, energized, but also
because it's absorbing through the glands.
Yes.
Yeah. So it basically absorbs through the cribriform plate and goes right into the dome, instead of these are for brain peptides.
Yeah.
The ones for your muscle or for recovery like BPC or you want to inject it right kind of where you need it.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's localized. But basically what C-Max C-Link does, and that's why a lot of companies put it into the same vial.
Yeah. Is this it?
Yeah. So this is actually just a demo product, but I can actually, whip something together for you and just give it to you. I'll mail you a whole package.
So cognitive enhancing. Yeah, let's get into these. The 3, because this is what I need.
So I have all the medical notes right here, but not to get too sciencey because I've done so many medical videos. to think about it at a high level and just like a big overview, your brain functions off of 2 happy chemicals, dopamine and serotonin. Now, there's a lot of other neurotransmitters, but those are the 2 main ones that make you feel really good or really So, for example, if we can say it, if you take, street drugs like Molly or ecstasy, it's not that you're taking a bunch of serotonin. What it's doing is it's blocking serotonin receptors. So there's more serotonin in your brain. Or if you do like a line of blow or coke, all you're doing is doing the same thing, but you're having more dopamine. You're basically boosting what's normally in your body. That's really all it's doing. But if on the fundamental level, you are, enhancing the receptors and rebuilding the neuroreceptors on the serotonin level and the dopamine level. If you guys didn't know, the serotonin helps with the happy chemical, and dopamine mainly helps with your motivation and drive. And so if you have, with depression, anxiety, or if you have damage to the brain, obviously your receptors are going to be damaged. So if you can rebuild those receptors on the cellular level, which is exactly what C-Lank CMAX does, then obviously you're going to be more happier. You're going to have more energy and more motivation, more drive. And so that's why, like, if you guys can, like, even just look on ChatGPT or just throw in CMAX, you're going to see it's dopamine and BDNF activator. So BDNF is a brain-derived neurotropic factor, which basically just helps the receptor and the synapses where these happy chemicals go. The main point is that it restores cognitive clarity. It improves motivation, obviously, because we're improving dopamine receptors, and it reduces the effects of chronic stress and on the brain system reward. Now, a side note here, that all sounds fun and games, and it's like, textbook stuff. I used it on myself to recover from depression after mold toxicity, which was, lingering, I think, for, 4 or 5 months. And also I'm like, well, if it worked on me, it might work on my other buddy. So my buddy Dave, who has massive ADHD, always falls into depression. He was having suicidal thoughts. I think at the time he reached out to me. He's like, dude, I'm having like 20 or 30 suicidal thoughts a day. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, this helped with physiologically, it helped me repair my 2 main happy chemicals, dopamine and serotonin. I'm like, let me just send you the care package. I just wanted to get you on these 3. And I didn't even mention PE22, which is the most powerful antidepressant peptide. But I'm like, just take these 3. And then I also sent him like D-SIP, which actually helps with delta sleep, just gets you in real deep sleep. Anyways, in about, I think it was about like 4 weeks, he called me back and I followed up with him. He's like, dude, I have no suicidal thoughts. I feel completely normal. Like everything is just baseline. He's like, I don't feel like amazing off the top, great, but I just feel like a normal person. He's like, my sleep, I used to wake up all the time. My sleep is so deep. I actually have, I'm actually very productive at work. I have an anxiety in a few weeks, which I've had it for, over a year. That was getting progressively worse. And I was like, man, I started getting chills. I'm even getting it right now because I'm like, you can literally reset the age of any body tissue. And I think the reason why we have a lot of mental health issues, across America is because of all the crap in our food. There's over 30 chemicals that are allowed in our food that are not allowed in Europe, not even Canada. There's microplastics everywhere that they're finding. They're finding so many microplastics that it's even in your scrotum now. It's in your nutsack as men, which is actually driving down testosterone. So all this damage is leading to damage in the brain, which is damaging your receptor sites.
What's your opinion on sustainment? Because I imagine you take this, you hit it in the nostrils, and it repairs. Does it repair and stay? I imagine age is the compound factor we're fighting against. It's the control because it just continues to degenerate. So do you repair and it's one and done, or are peptides overall something in a protocol that you just continue to take habitually?
Yeah, that's a great question. The best way that I tell our customers, or really anyone asking, because I've been doing peptides for over 5 years now, it's almost like, when are you going to be done brushing your teeth? Or like, when are you going to be done showering, Or when are you going to be done with TRT?
Basic hygiene, yeah.
That's really all it is. At least for now, the science we have right now is like, we're plugging holes in a sinking ship because it's like, okay, NAD is decreasing. Let's take something for NAD. Okay, our brain is fucking up. Okay, let's take something that's going to help the brain. The cool part about peptides, though, is that you cycle on and cycle off. Now, it's unlike a steroid because a steroid is basically you're injecting an exogenous hormone into your body. So you're telling your body to shut off, what it naturally produces. All peptides really do, differently than steroids, is that it increases or it reminds your body how it used to function. And so people with ADHD, anxiety, depression, or PTSD, all you're doing is kind of, doing a hard reset, like you do on iPhone, if you will, and you're getting yourself back to baseline. So it's recommended, depending on your case, but to get yourself up to baseline, it'll probably only take about a 2-month cycle on a brain peptide. Most peptides, even like the fat loss and muscle building ones, like the tesamorelins, and then the fat loss ones, the MOTS-c, the retatrutide, the AOD, those ones typically go in about a 6 to 8 week cycle as well. And then usually always you're going to be taking at least 1 to 2 months off and then going on it again if you need it. So I need to actually follow up my buddy Dave because I've only been doing the brain peptides for, I think, the last 18 months now. And so I personally have been on, 4 rounds of it just because I'm like, I love the way I feel. I wake up with so much energy. And one actual peptide to write down is something called orexin. And not erection, but erection. No, I'm just kidding. but orexin actually will give you a lot of mental clarity and focus. But if you do have anxiety, I wouldn't recommend it. I would stabilize your brain first with the C-Max again, C-Link, and then the most powerful antidepressant one, PE22.
Is that available now? Like you can get that now in that 3-piece protocol?
Right.
Yeah.
We're going live with that next week.
Oh, okay.
We have everything lined up, ready to go. We just have to launch it.
Yeah. And is anybody else doing that, the nostril thing for peptide?
I haven't heard of too many other people.
Yeah, there's a few other companies out there, but I think the problem with most other companies is that, man, they're charging like med spa prices. They're like 4 or 5x.
Oh, wow.
And I was even telling Joe, because I'm just helping Joe because I love peptides myself. And I'm like, okay, this is, you and your wife's thing. I'm like, dude, like what I was paying before on another website, like for example, MOTS-c, I'm like, dude, that was like 4 times higher. And it's basically the same thing. So
yeah, because the business plan and the health and wellness spa, that from my experience living next to Park City, which they're everywhere. They're popping up everywhere. We even have one in our own hometown. Is you get in there and then the dependency is like the IV hookup.
Yeah,
you want this peptide. Well, it's special. We have to inject it. We'll follow the protocol. You're nervous about injection, and then we're going to give you the IV, and then it's all going to be handled here. And it's like, what? You could do that at home, and you don't even have to inject it because you could do it through the nasal, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
dude.
But I mean, like not all.
I got chills for you. I'm excited for you.
But not all the peptides are bioavailable, or the efficacy or the absorption rate is as good.
Yeah,
I mean, you can still take a muscle building peptide like tesamorelin. You can do up the nose, but it's not going to be as good as injecting. So if anyone's out there that doesn't like needles, you can always do a nasal version.
Yeah.
I think one of the best ones that I love is the GHKCU to reset the skin. And I just finished that. Even my mom was like, wow, your face is looking really clear. Like, what are you doing?
Wow. So there's a peptide essentially for everything.
It's like an app. Like there's an app for that,
Yeah. So, okay. So peptides, the supplements, a big component to cognitive, mental health function, and then physical health. When you wrap it up all together, the cost of this stuff gets insane in these wellness spas, right?
Right.
So the idea with you guys is you're down selecting your protocol based on your needs. You could package the recipe and then get it shipped to your door.
Correct.
And I explained this to Joe. I'm like, because I worked with another wellness company, and I was just kind of like, hey, I want to try this out. And it was in Cali, which isn't that far from here. I could drive there in 9 hours. And they shipped it to my door with it constituted.
Oh, no, peptides?
And peptides on ice. And by the time it got to my door, it was warm.
Yeah.
So you have to keep this cool.
Correct.
Because it will die. I mean, it basically goes away, and it will be ineffective if you get it and it's not cool, right?
Exactly.
Or just constitute it like with Rejuvenate, you constitute it in your home.
Yeah, that's honestly the best way. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that peptides are very fragile. So even when you're remixing your peptides, I mean, the best way to do it is not to get it reconstituted from a company, because again, it could like die in transport, and then you're just injecting yourself for nothing. But even remixing it, you want the fluid to go down the side of the vial, not directly on like a pressure washer, onto the powder. And then something that I actually had to learn is anytime you just remixed your peptides, never put them in the refrigerator door. because those micro movements of opening and closing are going to damage it.
Mine are in my door.
Oh, man.
I'm glad I got the new package.
You're good. You keep
They're by the butter. I just like open it and close it. Okay.
Yeah, the best way to place it is in the back.
Yeah.
And then a really cool hack that my brother taught me was like meal prepping it. So he draws up all his peptides for the whole week, actually the whole month, because every time you reconstitute it, the average lifespan is at least 1 month. It depends on the peptide.
Depends on the peptide. It can be up to 90 days.
It can be up to 90 days,
Yeah.
But it's great if you just like meal prep it and just have.
So you draw up everything in one bundle?
No, what I do is, so like right now, for example, I'm on the CLO stack. So CLO is KPV, GHKCU, and BPC 157. I'm primarily doing it for my gut, but the side effect of the CLO stack is really good for your facial skin.
Yeah.
But I noticed that I was getting lazy at night and like, I'm gonna go to bed instead of doing my peptides. So what I did is I drew up the entire vial, 3 separate vials, into 3 separate Ziploc bags. So all my syringes are preloaded into 3 separate bags, and I labeled them, keep it in my little peptide fridge in my room, and then that way it's just ready to go. I don't even think about it; just grab it and go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you say so the syringes are already loaded
preloaded?
up.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, smart.
But,
That makes
but
a lot of
going back to your questions, most peptides can be put or mixed in the same syringe. Like I give you CJC 1295 with tesamorelin. You could add that.
Yeah.
The only ones I would recommend not to mix together is GHKCU, which is like a copper peptide. Red or True Tide, keep it by itself. NAD, keep it by itself. Other than that, most of them can be mixed together in one syringe.
When you hear like experimental use only, it scares the crap out of people, right?
Yeah, legally you have to say that.
Yeah, and it's but there has been no cases of fatalities, injuries, or anything, right? I've never heard of.
The only thing that I've ever heard throughout my research, and I totally forgot to mention this, I made a 5-hour video course on peptides that we're going to be launching on YouTube for free.
Oh, awesome.
And also a 150-page book.
On longevity.
No, only on peptides.
Yeah, no, I mean on Longevity Farms.
It's going to be on Rejuvenate Peptide YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, yeah.
Awesome. When does that drop?
Oh, man. So I already shot everything, but when I sold Simple Nursing to a textbook company, they're like, you can't do any, in my NDA was no medical education.
Yeah.
So if we're watching this, no, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm still going to launch it.
Yeah.
And then just, it's always better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to launch and see what happens. Or maybe I'll just have an AI avatar just be my face, my voice will be in the background.
Yeah. You got a great voice.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Let's wrap up with,
right.
I want to talk about psilocybin because we had talked about it a little bit before. I just had a conversation with a buddy of mine in Kanab, Utah. Mm-hmm. We kind of do this little retreat. You guys got to come to this little retreat thing we do. It's not a retreat. We just go screw off in Kanab, which is a small town, but it has dunes and outdoor stuff. We bring our families and we hang out and do stuff.
Nice.
But we work out. I did meditative. I do Wisdom Dojo, which is the Wisdom Dojo meditation practice, belly breathing, and reducing stress and cortisol. I did that protocol with them. We eat clean. We break bread together, but we could introduce peptides into the whole equation and educate these guys on it. It'd be super fun. But I talked to my buddy about the impact that psilocybin had on my brain, because not only did I get the benefits of perspective, because I had a better perspective walking away from it, but I feel like, without understanding completely the studies and the science, because a lot of them are ongoing. Even Paul Stamets has ongoing studies. The neurogenesis and neuroplasticity and the way it benefits your brain. What's your opinion on psilocybin and the alternative, I guess the alternative brain benefits or perspective benefits? Because both of you have dealt profoundly with death.
Oh, yeah.
And that scares the crap out of people, and trauma. But for PTSD, for veterans in my peer group, it has greatly benefited us.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, there's so much we can talk about. This is like a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
So much. I'm so interested in this stuff, so much so that I even started a mushroom church actually in Miami. And we do mushroom ceremony.
Are you based in Miami? Do you live in?
Kind of yes and no. I mean, born and raised in California, but I'm half the year in Miami.
Awesome.
But the reason for that, anywhere you go, there's so much research being done about psilocybin. From all the Ivy League schools, one of the best documentaries to watch is How to Change Your Mind. From Georgetown University, I believe Harvard, even Yale, I think even Dr. Huberman was involved in some type of study with psilocybin. But what they're finding out is this, catchy word, neuroplasticity. All that really means is that it reshapes the brain. And if you think about PTSD, anxiety, or depression, but mainly PTSD, just think about it as a moat, like around a castle, but a very muddy moat, slippery moat. And you're trying your best to kind of dig yourself out, but you'll always keep on slipping down into ruminating thoughts. You'll have these flashbacks, like my brother did when he came back from where were you at? Iraq in 2003. And it's like modern medicine can't really help with that. It's just, here's some antidepressants. I mean, I think that overall we've been failed as first responders, as military, and even veterans. No one really cares. It's just like, here's Big Pharma, it doesn't work. And so psilocybin itself, with the research, there's two things. Number one, it reshapes the brain with neuroplasticity. So imagine that big muddy moat you're trying to get out of. Imagine you have bulldozers that just level it, and you put a finely smooth racetrack on top of it. That's what psilocybin does. The second thing psilocybin does is that it turns off portions of the brain that resonate with your ego, with the I. And then it activates other parts of the brain that aren't usually activated. So that's why when you're under a hero's dose of psilocybin, you can see things and patterns that you normally don't. So you're thinking thoughts that you normally don't think. And then really the third thing that they found out is that, according to Paul Stamets, it's 1,000 times better bioavailable than antidepressants. So if you think about a lock and key situation, the active ingredient, the molecule of psilocybin, psilocin, it actually fits perfectly, not 90% perfectly, not 80 to 99, 100% perfect into that same receptor that we use, or we try to use for antidepressants.
Wow.
And it's being violently suppressed right now because there's almost no money to be made on it, unless you make it illegal and then Big Pharma tries to sell it. So according to Paul Stamets, the best way to do it is doing microdoses. So you can do what he recommends, 5 on and 2 off, or you can do every other day, right around the tune of like 75 to 150 milligrams. You can do more, but you're not really supposed to fill it. That's the goal. And so I have my parents on it because they're getting older, obviously damage to the brain as we get older, and your whole body's being damaged. And it's so funny because my dad, who had just severe trauma growing up, not from military per se, but he grew up in a broken home with a mom who was constantly drunk and substance abuse and get beaten by all her boyfriends. He came to the Lord, found Christ, and then became a police officer for 30 years. But the craziest part is that he started just very subtle. Around, I think 6 weeks into it, he started thinking thoughts that he haven't thought of. I really haven't heard him say a lot. He's like, man, I'm very grateful for this day. And then he started connecting with me on different stories of how he's proud of me as being his son, and how things that I haven't normally heard with his operating system of how he likes to between Fox News, the world is crashing, the government's failing us.
He's definitely read my book.
Yeah, exactly. Just so if there's anything that your listeners can do, if they are suffering from PTSD, depression, anxiety, even ADHD, it's just fixing the hardware first and then fixing your software. So I've been to a meditation retreat that it was a silent retreat for 10 days, 100 hours of meditation in 10 days, no phone, no laptop. You can't even read a book.
No talking.
No talking. And I call that the software because I'm not doing anything physiological to my body. Like, I'm not taking a peptide to reset my brain. I'm not taking psilocybin. I'm fixing kind of like my thoughts, and I'm doing the software. But I recommend the reverse for first responders especially, or veterans. It's you rebuild the brain, the hardware first, the neurosynapses, to make everything function better with your serotonin and dopamine. Then you can stack on a microdosing protocol of no more than 10 weeks, 5 days a week, about anywhere between 75 to 150 milligrams. And then after all that is done, then I would say, go into recondition your thoughts, or you can do it in conjunction, do the meditation as well. And then just observe your thoughts. And if any of your listeners want a free way to do it, or just want an all-intensive, go through the fire course, there's something called Vipassana that I went through. And that's 10 days. They house you and feed you for free. You don't have to pay anything.
Where's that at?
There's over 200 locations around the world.
Wow.
And it's not religious. It's not Hindu. It's not Buddhism. It's against all that. The whole point of it is to silence the mind. Because, and it's so funny because to leave everyone with this, I know I keep on saying that, but it's so fascinating. It's that by the end of 100 hours of meditation, they're finding out that your brain reacts very similarly than going on like a hero's dose of mushrooms.
Wow.
Because you're quieting parts of your brain that are overactive, specifically the limbic system, that has that fight or flight, that stress response. And, psilocybin and also PE 22 help to quiet that down. And so that's why I like the cheat codes first. And then I like to do like the long-term foundation work.
I like that comprehensive work. It's got to be all in. You got to do it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, I'm going to leave you last word before we say goodbye. I do want to say I am going to, in my description, leave my protocol that Longevity Farms and Rejuvenate has recommended for me with the link of where you can get that protocol, as well as my coupon code MG10 down in the description. Because I know some of you guys are similar to me. You're like-minded like me, but some of you are in the same boat as me. So I'll list out my protocol exactly, leave the links, and then the code MG10 will be available. And I'll leave you with the last word, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Again, thanks for having us on. This is our hobby and our passion is longevity, health, and just helping people. Me being a first responder and my brother being a nurse, we enjoy this. This is something that we really get into, and just exploring the body and finding alternative methods of healing and strength and weight loss, brain health. But for all of your listeners, if they email us, I'll put the link in the show notes. We'll build a custom-made peptide protocol plan to help them meet their goals. We'll give the discount code for Longevity Farms. Any way we can get back to your community, we would love to. So again, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate you guys' knowledge and all the experiences you guys share. I'm leaning in on you to advance this forward because I'm going to be on the protocol that you recommend.
Thanks
man.
for trusting us.
Oh, always, man. Thanks, guys. Until next time. Peace out, guys.